Dog for engagement. Happy Halloween. This is my second time recording it because the recording accidentally stopped it. I'm not gonna try and edit this shit. But yesterday I posted a video about how to get young people into the Universal Monsters, and that reminded me of other cool stuff I did, or other cool stuff I have, also inspired by the Universal Monsters. And today I'm gonna talk about idea for a D&D campaign setting that I best describe as post-apocalyptic gothic horror. And what it'd be a post-apocalyptic world, right? So kind of like Max or more specifically Vampire Hunter D, where instead of it being like the Universal Monsters are in this post-apocalyptic world, it's more like this post-apocalyptic world spawned the Universal Monsters. I hope that makes sense. So, like, for example, let's say there's one area where zombies are running around. It's not a full-on zombie apocalypse, although it's not bad. I do find that genre a bit not very fun, but not bad, but very depressing. So Jesus, it's hard to talk with this thing on, but and see, yeah, but as I was saying, there'd be like a zombie area with a bunch of zombies, and there's a scientist in that area who's trying to make like a cure, and part of that is stitching and one idea that he has is to stitch dead body parts together to make new people from the zombies. Does it make 100% sense? No, but it's cool. This is a rule of cool situation. Another idea I had was that in Paris there is a faction war going on, or there's a turf war going on between two gangs. One in Notre Dame, which is led by a rarely seen hunchback who lives in the Bell, disguised as a gargoyle. And in the Paris Opera House, there is another faction led by a man whose face was deformed during the apocalyptic event I have not thought about because it wasn't super important to the campaign idea I had. But like probably something with bombs. Yeah. But because of that, he has a deformed face, partially burnt, that he covers up with a mask, which can also double as a knife. But don't ask about how the mask knife works. It's a cool mechanic. That's how it works. But honestly, actually, I do have a bit of an idea. It'd be 1 second. As I was saying, I do have a bit of an idea of how it would work. It'd be like a classic Phantom of the Opera mask covering like half the face, and where he took it off, he could hold his fingers through the eye holes, and it could either be a knuckle buster, or on one end, and on the other hand, and on the other hand, like a blade thing would protrude out of it. But well, my mask is bothering me, whatever. But I have some other ideas than what mentioned here, like fish mutant gillmen. Like the gillmen are like mutated fish. I've also considered putting some more 50 sci-fi monsters in here. No aliens. I kind of want to stray away from that, but like giant bugs and like some giant and like maybe a Godzilla type, but yeah. Oh, actually, I just remembered another cool thing I had for this that be worth mentioning. He found an area. Dinosaurs are around for this campaign because I love dinosaurs way too much. But there's multiple areas with dinosaurs. There's several islands. One which are now more easily accessible because parts of the ocean dried up. And there's what's it? And one of those islands, people will go on a pilgrimage. People will go on a pilgrimage to. That's filled with dinosaurs because of a god there. That's a giant ape. Yeah, that's right. And also maybe Pellucidar, because I love Pellucidar. I'm trying to think of what else, since this was like from a few years ago. There's a bunch of people, or there's a citadel. Is that the term? I'm gonna call it citadel. Like there's like of a bunch of people who are invisible. A colony, that's what I'm looking for. There's a colony of people who are completely invisible because they solely survive off of a new fruit that has a drug called monocaine. Which I'm the invisible man, so I feel bad for forgetting that. I'm not going to go through all of them, just the coolest ones I can remember. One thing I go back and forth on is how I want to do the mummy which it didn't come up in the campaign story, so thank God. But it's either like ancient in Egypt, a bunch of people found an undead mummy after the apocalypse that was like brought back as a zombie, but because of like ancient Egyptian magic, it's a like still sentient and stuff, so it's kind of like a god. For the Wolfman, there's it's a man who travels with a bunch of dire wolves that, due to his time with them, can turn into one. Or actually, now that I say that out loud, since that also hasn't come up in the actually none of this has come up in the campaign yet, since I don't have anybody to play it with, but like this hasn't come up in like the storyline I've planned out so far, or storyline options. But the story, but now I'm gonna change it so there's just like a tribe of them that like a tribe of wolves can turn into people. And well, the zombies I mentioned are being controlled by one with more sentient, which eats blood, which is meant to be a reference to White Zombie. But he's like a wizard type thing or warlock, that's the term, who lives in a castle, drinks blood, and is immune to sunlight. Obviously, in stakes too, because who wouldn't that kill? And I don't know how I'm handling religion with this, if I'm being honest, because like this is gonna sound slightly disrespectful, but like after a nuclear war, how far would the Catholic Church's influence spread? Like, yeah, there'd still like be people who like believe, but like, would it be big enough that like you can still find crucifixes everywhere? Because like, even if most stores don't sell a crucifix, it's still very easy to find a place selling a crucifix. But yeah, and here, but garlic, I just decided, yeah, but still weak too, or the vampire's still weak too, but like, it's an apocalypse, not a lot of people have garlic, and I'm trying to think of what else. I know I keep saying that, but this is off the top of my head. I do not script these. I get paid $40 a week to walk this dog, and I decided to start recording myself talking about shit, just because I do someday want to make actual videos, but like, I have no idea how to edit a video. So this is just like what I do to stop myself from going, like, basically just not doing anything, and never filling back. Eventually it'll be in YouTube as soon as I figure out what is and isn't editing software. But sorry, side tangent. What was I gonna say? Crap. I'm trying to think. Mummies. I'm not sure what I talked about this earlier, but then got distracted. I'm not 100% sure what I want to do with them. Either a bunch of guys wrapped in bandages, and like, or it's like one guy who like runs a cult about him wrapped in bandages because of his scars, but like it's kind of the same thing I did with Phantom, or like resurrected by a zombie. But Dracula zombie virus, but it didn't work because of ancient Egyptian magic. So that one's indecisive. Who have I not talked about? I've done I think I hit everybody. Dracula, zombies, wolves, Frankenstein. What a thinking. So, man. Yeah, I think that's everybody. Wait, did I do? Oh, and also Jekyll and Hyde are kind of the same, but like zombie-ish. This world is zombie coded, even if it's not a full-on zombie apocalypse. Think Vampire Hunter D if it were black and white. If it were like made in the 1940s. Or more 1950s. 40s going to 50s, actually. You know what I mean. Thank you. Happy Halloween. And remember, I can always see where you are.